The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. Yeah!
Hi, and welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. Today I'll be joined by Sean McDermott. He's the Director of Sales in the U.S. for BWT. And BWT is bringing an exciting lineup of robotic pool cleaners to the market here in the USA. We're going to talk about some of those cleaners. We're also going to discuss robotic pool cleaners in general, some of the advancements that have been made over the years, and why a robotic pool cleaner may be the right cleaner for your pool. Pool Service Pro, open a Leslie's wholesale account today and receive wholesale pricing on products you use every day. Leslie's Pool Supply offers convenient locations that are open 7 days a week. Another great benefit of opening a Leslie's wholesale account is Leslie's referral program. Get referred to a customer looking for weekly pool service. Save time and money and grow your pool service route and become a Leslie's Pro. So I'm joined today by Sean McDermott, who is the Director of Sales in the USA for BWT. How you doing, Sean?
Great. Thanks for having me, David.
Yeah, I think this is something that the listeners were waiting for because BWT is coming to the U.S. market, and I don't think a lot of people know the BWT brand. Can you give the listeners kind of a rundown on BWT?
Sure. BWT is a very old company, actually, over 100 years old. We are based in Austria, near Salzburg. For many years, BWT existed as a water treatment company. We're in all facets of water treatment, from industrial, pharmaceutical, residential, kitchen water, in-counter kitchen water treatment, pitchers, and all of those things. So we've been heavily involved in water treatment for a century, essentially. And just now, in the past 6 years, have become increasingly involved in the swimming pool market, with the acquisition of a number of different companies based in Israel, Europe, China, and Australia.
And so one of those acquisitions was the Aquabot lineup, is that correct?
Yes, we purchased Aquatron Robotic Technologies, who was the manufacturer of the Aquabot brand that many people in the U.S. are familiar with. Aquatron changed hands a couple of times in the last decade. We have owned them for the last almost 5 years now. And with that new ownership has come a resurgence of our research and development, a lot of new products and a lot of exciting things.
So let's just jump right into the robotic cleaner technology. And I think in the US, I would say that if you were to ask people what is their preferred type of cleaner, it used to be suction side cleaners, maybe in the Midwest, pressure cleaners. But I think the consensus is moving towards robotic pool cleaners for a number of reasons. And you want to touch on some of the technologies and advancements in the robotic technology over the years, because there has been a lot of improvement in the last 10 years.
Sure. It's interesting because if you look at the first robotic cleaners to hit the market in the 80s, and unfortunately I can remember that, they don't look a whole lot different from a mechanical standpoint than the cleaners that we have today. They've made a lot of improvements to the chassis, to the weight of the cleaner, to the way that the cleaner operates. But the general idea is that you've got some sort of a brush-based or a track-based drive system along with a pump. And that's how they operate. So, obviously improvements to the robot side of the equation, where we've got more intelligent robots that can map the pool and make sure that they cover the floor a whole lot better. That's really come a long way over the past couple of decades. I think the reason that robotic cleaners are becoming so popular in the U.S. especially, they're actually far more popular in Europe than they are in the U.S., believe it or not. They're by far the market leader in Europe, and we're now leading the market in the U.S., but it's taken a number of years. As you said, the suction side and the pressure side cleaners were the most popular. But I think the idea that it runs separately from your filter system, they're incredibly efficient. Almost every cleaner across the board costs 5 cents to 15 cents per hour to operate. They can be operated on a schedule, and they're also really cool. I mean, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with them. Integrate them with your automation system, integrate them with Alexa, and Roomba, for example, a lot of people are buying Roombas for their house, and when they discover that they can buy something similar for their pool, that's naturally where they're going to go rather than the pressure side or suction side cleaner.
And I should back up a little bit and mention that you've been in the industry for a long time, so you really know robotic pool cleaners from a lot of different angles. Is that fair to say?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I started in the industry when I was 15 years old, when the original Kreepy Krauly was the preferred automatic cleaner for your pool. I grew up through Kreepy Krauly, through Polaris, all of the pressure side cleaners. Did many Polaris days where we repaired Polaris cleaners for our customers when I was retail. And luckily, the retailers or the builders that I worked for over the years when I was young jumped on the robotic train very early. It was a product that I immediately liked and was interested in, and that's led to a very long career that has either revolved around robotic cleaners or filtration or something relating to that technology for the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I used to have one of those white creepy crawlies in my garage, and I finally got rid of it. I was holding on to it as a relic.
Yep.
Those were the
Yeah.
days. People probably don't even know there was a white creepy crawly when they first started.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was very proud as a 16-year-old working at a pool store in the summer to be able to buy my father one of those white creepy crawlies, and we must have replaced the seal on that thing 40 or 50 times.
Yeah, it's actually still one of the best suction cleaners out there.
Oh
Underrated, I
yeah.
think. Everyone still calls their cleaner the creepy crawly when I
Yes,
go
they
out to
do.
the
Yeah.
pools. So what do you think would be a good feature? I know there's so many robotic pool cleaners to choose from. If you were to nail down, for the consumer or the pool pro that is looking for a cleaner for their customer, what would be some things that they should focus on looking at the cleaner?
I've been involved in a number of consumer panels over the years, and there's some things that the consumers have always stated that they wanted. One of those things, a lot of those things are unobtainable with our current technology. Batteries are coming onto the market now, which I think will lead to improvements in robotic cleaners. The batteries, as we see them now, and we'll have a battery cleaner as well coming in the near future. They actually require more maintenance than a corded cleaner, because you now introduce the fact that you have to recharge the battery, which could mean that you have to recharge it once every time you run the cleaner, or maybe once per week, but you're adding additional maintenance. So the batteries are cool. I think that's going to lead to a lot of good technology moving forward. But I think what consumers wanted most, at least from what I've learned, is a very powerful cleaner, a cleaner that does a good job, but isn't incredibly difficult to remove from the pool when you have to clean out the filter basket. So what does that mean? It means weight, right? If you have a cleaner that weighs half as much as most cleaners on the market, when it's full of water, the water drains out quickly, just like on most cleaners that are available today. But if the cleaner weighs less, it's much easier to take out of the pool to clean. It's easier to handle. The challenge in the past was being able to achieve a level of performance of the heavy cleaners with the lighter cleaners. And we're seeing some manufacturers, including us, coming out with technology that can do that now.
Yeah, so that's the big factor, especially if someone is older or, not physically able to lift 20 pounds of water out of the pool and the cleaner. I think that's a key point. I think also we can back up a little bit about the technology. One thing I noticed over the years is that the seals in the motor have gotten a lot better. A lot of the failures in the earlier robots were water getting into the motor. Can you talk about BWT's cleaners and how you've made them to where they're pretty much fail-safe nowadays compared to the ones in the past? And if you look at old Amazon reviews of some cleaners, they're saying that water got in there and ruined them.
Over the years, yeah, all manufacturers have kind of improved manufacturing technologies and materials to the point where, and really testing and research and development have come a long way in that aspect as well. But yeah, the seals on the shafts of the motors, the fact that almost everybody is now making cleaners with one motor block. It used to be in the past where you would separate all the motors, right? You'd have one or two drive motors in a separate housing and a pump motor in a separate housing. Well, when you have all those different housings, you introduce a lot of spaces for water to enter those areas that should be water free. So the seal technology on the motors has come a long way, and the longevity as well. Where we would expect the motor seals to fail, the shaft seals on the motor to fail within, really, if it's used regularly in the 90s, it was 18 months to 2 years, and your motor shafts were pretty much have eaten your seals. Now these seals can last up to 10 years, no problem. So absolutely that. And then of course, material technology as well, just in the types of plastics that we're using and how resilient they are. But yeah, that's a great point.
And I was a big fan of the Aquabot cleaners. I was one of the first ones that I put in pools when I was selling them to customers before the newer models started coming out. And the one thing I didn't like about them was the robot diaper they had.
Yeah.
Basically, talk about the BWT filtration system that you're using. You're not using the robot diapers in your cleaners, right?
No, now we still have the diapers in the commercial cleaners.
Yeah.
The diaper is interesting, and what you're referring to, a filter bag that would be bottom loading. You have a plate that you remove from the bottom, and it's got a big cloth bag that it looks like a diaper, and it's about as enjoyable to clean out as changing a diaper. They're not great to clean. What I will say is they do utilize every available space inside the robot, and they filter very well. So for commercial cleaners, we still use the bags because it offers the highest capacity. But myself being a consumer, I don't want to mess with that when I'm doing my maintenance on my pool. So what we've done, and what most manufacturers have done with residential cleaners, is gone to a top loading basket. There's a number of ways to filter the water when you're operating the cleaner. We have 2 different platforms that we sell most in America. One of those platforms uses an extremely fine filter and a very, very powerful pump motor. And that cleaner weighs 24 pounds. So it's a big, powerful cleaner, would be at home in any commercial pool out there. But, do we need that level of filtration for most residential pools? Probably not. So what you're seeing from most manufacturers now, including us, is a fine mesh screen. It's very easy to clean, whether it be a basket or a tray or something like this. You open the top, you pull it out, and you hose it off. It takes only minutes to clean these filters out now, which is great.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome change in the technology, and I really like the BWT robots that I've tested. I like the debris canisters that are in there. And I think something else we can touch on is BWT is known as a more international company. You mentioned you acquired Aquatron, which was making the Aquabot cleaners in the US. So can you explain to the listeners when BWT robots are going to be widely available here in the US? Because I know I filmed some videos last year, or this year for you, I should say. We're not quite in 2023 yet, but they're hard to find at this point. So what are you doing to bring these cleaners to the market?
That's a great question. So we've got a number of different things in the works for 2023. We will have plenty of cleaners available. They should be widely available at local retailers. We'll have a number of versions that will be sold online through various outlets. But yeah, we're not the market share leader in the U.S. at this time. But as far as availability is concerned, from coast to coast, we should be very easy to get your hands on one of our cleaners. It's the things that we have in the works for distribution for 2023 are pretty incredible, coming from where we were last year. So we're very excited about that. And of course, if one of the listeners, if a consumer needs to get a hold of one of our cleaners, they can simply call our office, and we can direct them to a local dealer or a distributor that will know where the local dealer is. Our phone number is 833-4-MY-AQUA. It's pretty easy to remember. And we're happy to help you via phone or email. Contact me on LinkedIn if you're looking for a cleaner. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll definitely put the links in the podcast too for that. I'm going to probably go into the weeds a little bit here, but you acquired Aquatron, which was making Aquabot robots here. And I want to make a distinction for the listeners here because the Aquatron Aquabot robots were actually different than the Aquaproducts Aquabot robots. For instance, Aquatron didn't make the Turbo T4, but they made some of the other cleaners like the Breeze IQ, if I'm correct. And so,
Yep.
if we're gonna just make a distinction between BWT and the old Aquabot cleaners, the Aquatron brand had their own lineup basically that
Yes.
BWT is expanding on. Is that an accurate way of explaining it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So it's sort of a convoluted way that all of the brands had proliferated over the years. But Aqua Products was actually a U.S. company. They were the importer and distributor of Aquatron robots under the Aquabot brand name. Of course, Aquatron sold Aquabot worldwide, but in the U.S., it was the company Aqua Products that had been distributing them. They also had a line of their own robots that they were either assembling in the U.S. or having assembled overseas, and those were also under the Aquabot name and sometimes under the Aqua Products name. So it became early when I started with the company early on. It was very confusing for a lot of our distributors and our customers and even consumers. We still get a lot of calls because Aqua Products is still a brand that is out there in the industry. That's not BWT's brand anymore, or excuse me, Aquatron's brand anymore, and it was never BWT's brand. But we're not Aqua Products. We still distribute some Aquabot brand named products. Our commercial line, for example, is Aquabot. And then we have some legacy products that are still Aquabot brand. All of these are made by Aquatron, which is wholly owned by BWT Group at this point.
And so going forward in the US, you're going to use the BWT branding. Is that what you're going to do, or how are you going to how are you going to solve the confusion?
Yeah. So BWT Pool Products will be the global brand for the pool side of BWT. We own distribution in Europe and Australia. Those will move to BWT Pool Products away from their current brand names, and every product under our umbrella will move to BWT Pool Products. So we'll have BWT robotic cleaners among other products as well.
And the reason why I brought that up is because I got a list when the acquisition happened of all the Aquatron robots and all the Aqua product robots. And I just want the listener to know that I believe that the Aquatron robots were superior to the Aqua product robots. And I just mentioned a couple that Aquatron made. And that's why I really am comfortable with BWT, because I know in testing all the Aquabot lineup of robots that the Aquatron portion of that company was superior. They had the top loading debris canisters.
Yes.
They had better technology, had the mapping technology that you mentioned, where the old Aqua products, Aquabots like the Turbo T2, Turbo T4, were just basically mindless back and forth robots with two motors. The listener should know there's a distinction in the brand, and that BWT is actually the superior robotic pool cleaner version that the confusing lineup of Aquabot cleaners, BWT through Aquatron, had the superior robots.
Yeah, and it was Aqua Products in the U.S. when they existed as their own sovereign company. They had a full line, so you could buy an Aquabot that cost $299. That wasn't manufactured by Aquatron. It wasn't until you got to around $900 that the robots were made by Aquatron. We do some things, and Aquatron has always done things really to achieve the highest level of performance, which sometimes makes it difficult to hit certain price points that we would like to hit. But using a dual drive system rather than a single drive system, using more powerful pump motors and these sorts of things, that's always been kind of the trademark of Aquatron, and we continue that with BWT.
And I think you mentioned one of the things that BWT was working on was making all the features of these larger cleaners, the more expensive features, into a lighter version that the consumer can handle, get out of the pool easily, but still performed as well as the larger cleaner. So you want to go over maybe a robot in your lineup that has those features?
Yeah, sure. So we have the Cosme line and also the Advanced Pro line coming in 2023. And both of those lines, the cleaners weigh less than 13 pounds, but they're dual drive. And if to explain what that is, if you're a construction guy, they can steer like a bobcat. If you're not a construction guy, they can steer like a tank. So they drive on the tracks, and the tracks can counter rotate. So what that means is the cleaner can pivot 90 degrees on the spot that it's sitting, rather than needing to do a sort of a back and forth motion in the pool. This is the most efficient way to navigate the bottom of a pool and the most precise, but it's also the most expensive to manufacture because you have to add another motor and a lot more intelligence to the cleaner. The Cosme line and the Advanced Pro line are all dual drive cleaners, from our $629 floor only cleaner all the way up to our $1,599 cleaner. Those are all dual drive, so they're all going to navigate the pool the same in the same manner. The cleaning power is the same. The difference is that, again, it's not a 24-pound cleaner, it's a 13-pound cleaner. The same gyroscope technology. Why is a gyroscope important? A gyroscope essentially tells the brain of the cleaner where the cleaner is at all times and what it's doing. So it knows if it's on the wall, if it knows if after mapping the pool, it knows if it's in the shallow end or the deep end. So this is really what gives the cleaner the intelligence to clean the highest percentage of the pool surface as possible. So we've taken all that technology and crammed it into a very lightweight cleaner that is easy for the consumer to handle, but again, performs just as well as most of the large, heavy cleaners out there.
Yeah, that's an important feature, the lightweightness of it, because to me, even myself, I don't like pulling heavy robots out of the pools. And most consumers, like you mentioned, you were on a panel, they don't like that either.
Right?
I guess we can touch on the price. I always tell people you get what you pay for in anything. If you buy a car that costs 15,000, it's not going to be the same as a car that costs 35,000.
Right.
And the same in robotic pool cleaner. I always get the question. This comment is like, "Oh, they're so expensive," but you can get one for under 300. But what are you getting with that value? So the price point is because, like you said, of the features that are in the cleaner.
Yes. Yeah. And, for us, it's obviously we want to price our cleaners competitively in the market. For example, we've got the top of the line Cosme platform or Advanced Pro 250, for example. Those cleaners are 4-year warranties now. They've got a 2-year full warranty, a 2-year what we would consider like a powertrain warranty on the motor and power supply for an additional 2 years. They come with a caddy. They've got dual drive. They're app capable, and that cleaner is $1,100 retail. That's extremely competitive. We've got other cleaners that are more expensive. And what are you going to get when you pay more for the more expensive cleaner? You're going to get finer filtration and a more powerful pump motor. That's really what you're getting. So if you've got a larger pool or a pool with a complicated surface, perhaps those cleaners would serve you better. Or if you want the absolute cleanest pool and water, then you might want to spend a little bit more, up to $1,500 or $1,600 to achieve that. But yeah, absolutely. A lot of times what people aren't considering in the price of a product, not just robotic cleaners, is the support behind the product. We could reduce the price of our cleaners by a few $100s if we decided not to provide any after sale service at all whatsoever. But we want to make sure that our dealers and our customers are well taken care of after the sale should something happen. That's all built into the price, really, of every product out there. And so when you're comparing price and you say when you get what you pay for, consider the after sale service part of what you're paying for.
And I guess the rule of thumb with the warranty is, if BWT is giving essentially a 4-year limited warranty on the cleaner, that product is going to last a very long time in the pool, because you're not going to want to take that cleaner back and do repairs anytime before that period.
Correct. Yeah, and based on our research and development, based on the last 4 years of this product being being tested rigorously in our facilities, we're confident in giving it that 4-year warranty.
And Sean mentioned that the easiest way to contact him is through LinkedIn. To find him on LinkedIn, just go to Google and in the search box, type in Sean, S-E-A-N, and then the initial M, and then just put BWT Pool USA, and you'll find his LinkedIn profile pop up there in the Google search box. Again, just type in Sean M, BWT Pool USA, and that'll take you to his LinkedIn profile. You can also go to the BWT website to look at their cleaners. Just go to bwt.com and then click on the Pool and Garden tab, and that'll take you to the robotic pool cleaners that they manufacture. Some of these models are going to be available here in the US in 2023. And if you're looking for other podcast episodes that I've recorded, you can go to my website, swimmingpoollearning.com. On the banner, click on the podcast icon, and that'll take you to a drop-down menu of the podcasts that I have available, which is over 1,000 podcasts for you. And if you're interested in my coaching program, you can learn more about that at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless. Pool Service Pro. Open a Leslie's wholesale account today and receive wholesale pricing on products you use every day. Leslie's Pool Supply offers convenient locations that are open 7 days a week. Another great benefit of opening a Leslie's wholesale account is Leslie's referral program. Get referred to a customer looking for weekly pool service. Save time and money and grow your pool service route and become a Leslie's Pro.